Hi, my name's Daniel. I'll be taking you guys through a sample pre-trip inspections. Please bear in mind that different trucks are different. However, we as commercial drivers should be able to identify basic parts across any trucks and perform a basic pre-trip inspection before starting our trip. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the front. So I'm going to begin with clearance lights up here. Marker lights. Hazard lights. And headlights. Windshield. Wipers. Hood. Grill. Bumper. License plate. Underneath. Heavy vehicle safety inspection certificate. Safety diesel emissions inspection certificate. Vehicle registration. Fender mirror. We're going to start on the passenger side. General overview. Coolant reservoir. Cap. Hoses. Fluid level. Air intake and air filter. Fan. Radiator. Alternator. Wires. Belt. Okay, so general overview, and now I'm going to start with my power steering reservoir, hoses, cap, fluid level, power steering gearbox, hoses, fittings, power steering shaft, U-joints, power steering linkages, pitman arm, drag link, upper control arm, we got the lower control arm down here, and then we have the tie rod over here. Notice, between the pitman arm and drag link, there is a castle nut and cotter pin. Here, there is another castle nut and cotter pin. And over here, there's another castle nut and cotter pin. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my power steering pump. Power steering pump, air compressor, oil dipstick, AC compressor, and frame. So now I'm going to go to suspension. We have leaf spring, spring hanger, hardware, U-bolts, shock absorber. hardware. Moving on to my brakes. Okay, so now we have our brake chamber, clamp, hardware, brake hoses, ABS line, push rod, slack adjuster, brake drum and shoes, brake lining. So we're going to do the axle now. Inner and outer rims, tire, tread depth, lug nuts, valve stem, hub seal, mud flap. So now we're going to do the side of the truck. Beginning here, we have the mirror bracket, the flat mirror, the convex mirror. We have the door handle. We have the door hinges. We have the handrail. We have the steps. We have the air tanks. We have the air lines and fittings. We have the battery box, catwalk, frame. We have the drive shaft, U-joints, and we have the muffler and exhaust, fuel tank, straps, fuel cap, go. Rear tractor suspension. Rear tractor suspension. Beginning here, we have the spring mount or spring hanger. We have the leaf springs. We have the U-bolts. Like sometimes, or some trucks may not have shock absorbers here at the rear of the tractor. However, some trucks do. The last truck didn't, but this one does. Let's look at the shock absorber right here. Another thing some trucks have, but not all trucks, is air suspenders or airbags here at the rear. So now we're continuing with the brakes, okay? So let's start with brake chamber. And then we have the brake hoses. Then we have the ABS line. We have the push rod. And the slack adjuster. We have the brake drum and shoes. And we have the brake lining inside. Okay, now we're going to move on with the axle at the rear of the tractor. Let's check in between the two tires. Make sure there's nothing stuck in between. Make sure the inner rims are touching, and make sure that the space is normal. Now here on the outside, let's check the rims, tire, tread depth, lug nuts, axle seal, and inner and outer valve stems. Mud flap. So now we're going to do the coupling. We're going to begin with our red emergency line. blue service line, fittings to the trailer, fittings to the tractor, glad hands to the trailer, electrical line, slack, hitch release arm, apron, skid plate, kingpin, locking jaw, mounting platform, mounting bolts, and finally, pintle hitch. Okay, now we're gonna do the rear of the tractor. We have the license plate, we have the hazard lights, and we have the tail lights, as well as the mud flaps. We're doing the trailer now. This is the landing gear crank handle. This is the landing gear assembly. These are cross beams. This is the landing gear shoe. Now we're just doing the side of the trailer. So we have the clearance lights. We have the body of the trailer. We have reflective tape. And on some trucks, we have reflectors like this. Now we're gonna do the trailer suspension. Spring mount. Leaf springs. U-bolts. And torsion bar. So we have the tandem release lever. When we pull out the tandem release lever, we disengage these pins. When these pins are disengaged, we can slide the tandem axle forward and backward for desired weight distribution. Not all trailers have this tandem release lever, but many do. So now we're going to do brakes on the rear of the trailer. We have the brake chambers, brake hoses, we have ABS line. Back here, the push rod and the slack adjuster. Here we have the brake drum and shoes, and we have the brake lining in here. You can also mention air tanks if you see. Now I'm going to do the tandem axles here at the trailer. So let's look in between the tires. The rims. We have the tires, tread, lug nuts, axle seal, outer valve stem and inner valve stem. Okay, this axle should be the same. We have the mud flap as well. Okay, so now we're going to do the back of the trailer. We have the clearance lights. We have the tail lights. We have the hazard light. We have the trailer. We have the trailer cables. We have the handle. We have the bumper. The license plate. And the plate light. All right, so now we're gonna go inside of the truck and we're gonna do our inside inspection, including our air leak tests, okay? So now we're going to do the inside inspection, including the air brake tests. I'm going to begin by building up my pressure to 120 pounds. So in order to start the engine, let's always remember to check that we're in neutral. Let's make sure our parking brakes are out. Let's push the clutch as deep as we can. Leave the key on for a few seconds. And then crank the engine. Now we're going to wait for the pressure to build and reach around 120 psi. At around 120 psi, we should hear the governor valve. I heard my governor, my tanks are full. I'm going to turn the engine off. I'm going to place the key in the on position. Wait a couple of seconds. I'm going to put my truck in gear so it doesn't roll on me. And I'm going to release my parking brake and my trailer brake. Okay, I'm going to wait a couple of seconds. And now once the pressure is equalized, I'm going to go ahead and do my air leak test. I'm going to hold down my service brake for 1 minute. I shouldn't lose any more than 4 psi. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it down. I'm going to look at my watch. In a minute, I didn't lose any more than 4 psi. There are no leaks. Now I'm going to go ahead and check my low pressure alarm. I'm going to pump my service brake until I hear my low pressure alarm sound off. It should sound off before the pressure reaches 60 psi. Okay, my low pressure alarm is working just before the pressure reached 60 psi. Now I'm going to go ahead and check my spring brakes. I'm going to keep pumping my service brake between 20 and 40 psi. My spring brakes should engage and my parking brake or protection valves should pop out. Okay, both of my valves popped out. My spring brakes are working between 20 and 40 psi. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a safe start of my engine to bring the pressure back up to 120 psi. I'm going to put my transmission back in neutral. I'm going to make sure both of these valves are out. I'm going to push the clutch in. Okay, while I'm waiting for the pressure to increase, I'm going to do my in-cab inspection. Starting on my left side, moving to my right side. My mirrors are secure, not bent, broken, loose, or missing, adjusted for my height. My steering wheel has no more than 10 degrees of play. My electrical is working. My air horn is working. My hazard indicators are working. My left signal indicator is working. My right signal indicator is working. My high beam indicator is working. My wipers and fluid are working. In this case, there's no fluid. We need to top up that fluid. My oil pressure indicator is working around 50 psi. My water temperature gauge or indicator is working. It's a little low right now, but the temperature should build to around 180 degrees. My RPM gauge is working. We're idling around 600 or 700 RPM. My speedometer, I'll check when we move. My fuel indicator is working around 3/4. My 2 pressure indicators are working and building to 120 psi. And my volts indicator or voltmeter is working around 14 volts. Here I have my important documentation, my insurance and registration. Here, my parking and trailer brake valves are secure, not loose, missing, or broken. Here, my climate control. I'm going to check my defroster. Put my hand over here. My heater and defroster are working. My driver area is clean. No debris stuck under my pedals. Here I have a fire extinguisher. Underneath my passenger seat, I have 3 reflective triangles, a first aid kit, and extra bulbs and fuses. Here, my rear window is secure, not loose, missing, or broken. My cab light is working, and my seatbelt is secure. It's not cut, torn, or missing. And I'm not going to forget to mention my height and weight. My vehicle height is 13.5 feet in this trailer, although in some trailers it's only 12.5. And my combined weight is about 43,000 pounds. Now I'm done with my my in-cab inspection. I'm on my parking brake, trailer brake, and service brake tests. First I'm going to check my parking brake. I'm going to perform a short tug test. I'm going to release my trailer brake. I'm going to put my truck in gear. I'm going to let the clutch nice and slow. Okay, my truck didn't move. My parking brake is working. Now I'm going to go ahead and check my trailer brake. I'm going to pull out my red button, push in my yellow one, and I'm going to go ahead and do another tug test. Okay, trailer didn't move. My trailer brake is working. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check my trailer brake. So I'm going to put my truck in gear. I'm going to push in my trailer brake, grab my trailer service brake, and perform another tug test. Trailer service brake is working. Now I'm going to check my actual service brake or my foot service brake. I'm going to move the truck forward around 5 miles an hour and come to a complete stop, making sure that my service brake is working and that the truck stops smoothly and in a straight line. Okay, my service brake is working, my truck stopped in a straight line, and my speedometer is working. I'm done with my in-cab inspection and I'm ready to do my outside, or I am